Alright, today guilt and shame around sex and sexiness and that's our spiritual energy. So we really don't need that. Like, has it come up? It's come up in my world. I've just been out for a bushwalk and a couple of friends have been talking to these guys, and it's come up for both of them all within an hour. So, oh, there's a sign. Alright, let's deal with this one. So what is it? How do we deal with it? Because it's really, really hindering and keeping our vibration low. So we really need to just get it gone. Uh, Generally, it's heavy metal toxicity. They are the lowest vibrational emotions. Guilt and shame. It's like 20 and 30 on the scale of emotions, and therefore energy. An average is 220 and goes up to 1,000. So we need to deal with the low stuff so we can rise and feel better about ourselves and have beautiful relationships, sexual relationships, beautiful sacred moments with our beautiful partners. So has it come up for you, either you doing it or receiving it from your partner, which means it's part of you anyway? And as the mirror theory tells us, has there been a whole lot of guilt after sex and making of the love? Oh, it happens, right? Because we're stimulating this area and there's a lot of heavy metals. And heavy metals that are stored, they go low into the body, so they're stored in the lower legs and, of course, genitals and reproductive system area. And it's a big factor for why we get a sore back as well. So naturally, when we're stimulating, getting a lot of pleasure and a lot of energy from our beautiful making love practices, and it comes up. And then, of course, then there's attached fear to it. So we just have to go, like, oh, I'm feeling pleasure, I'm feeling all this fantastic, beautiful love. That's scary because there's guilt and shame attached to that. Of course, there's a whole bunch of stuff that from our Catholic upbringing and all this Christian stuff. It's particularly in Western society because we have so much fluoride and toxicity in our water and our food. So that's the cause, and we really need to get rid of it within ourselves. So then we can have not only a lot more freedom and sexual freedom and a closeness in our relationships, but also that's the area where our gender issues and beliefs and things are stored. So it's incredibly vital to get rid of these. And once we do it within ourselves, that'll have a bigger impact amongst our friends, family, and wider society, and spiritual communities, and the whole world, universe. Sounds good, eh? So how do we do it? Heavy metal removal. There's a lot of biochemistry, little nutraceuticals that I like to use. And also we have some Ayurvedic products that target that particular area for both men and women. And of course, sweating, exercise and sweating for vibration to shake it up and get this stuff out. I've been very fortunate to be having, a lot of Mother Nature practices, outdoor exercise, sweating a lot through football and soccer through my childhood, and also in recent times, like a good 8 years of Bikram yoga. That has resulted in getting a lot of fear, a lot of guilt and shame, and a lot of sweating. And as a result, it doesn't really come into my world all that much unless it's reflected from friends, which is a much easier way to deal with it. Also, chocolate or cacao, proper quality chocolate without the sugar and ideally raw, that has all the minerals and still attached and still in there, that hasn't been destroyed and ruined, that can also have feelings of guilt and shame. And then quite often we attach that to sex or whatever part of our body is our current imbalance. So it can come up from all this guilt and shame from eating chocolate, beautiful cacao, because that is stimulating our nervous system with all the beautiful minerals and protects our nervous system, goes across the blood-brain barrier. So it's not actually the chocolate, it's the effect of the pleasure centers that are protecting our vagus nerve. Kind of an important difference, just that we tend to project our stuff onto other things externally. So ideally we want to catch ourselves so we can stop doing that as a behavioral habit. And also by doing that, we're taking full responsibility for ourselves, and then we can have more chocolate and do it with pleasure, because that's the pleasure center. Let's have more pleasure, please. So guilt and shame around sex, it can go. Heavy metal removal. We've got coffee enemas, of course. Especially Lamborghini coffee enemas are brilliant for heavy metal removal. It's funny how that Lamborghini coffee is good for everything. Might be worth it considering and actioning. Let's get rid of the guilt and shame around sex, shall we?